Hello and welcome to Redacted Nuisance. That 10 to 12 minutes of randomness on Tinternet by me, Dr. J, uses they as a pronoun, where I record everything in one take, don't listen to it, and put it straight up on Tinternet. So it is with zero production values whatsoever. The only production value that I've managed to do in the last however long since I've been doing this is I got a decent wake, which now works properly and should stop some of the weird artifacts that we got in some of the recordings over the last little bit. So, what was I going to talk about today? In my weird little ramblings. Oh, first off, why is it called Redacted Nuisance? I was going to call it Queer Nuisance because I identify as a queer nuisance and a troublemaker. But if I called it Queer Nuisance, I wouldn't get to see it because queer is a word that gets shadow banned and blocked on Tinternet, and it means that some people who might want to listen to this are not open about being part of the LGBTQ, the LGBTQ plus groups, and making it explicit that it's LGBTQ plus would block it from some people, so I redacted it. So hence it's called Redacted Nuisance. Not because I'm being silenced, I am parkouring my way around Tinternet the way that the youth of today use LGBTQ. They use words like unalive and grape and things like that rather than the actual terms, because that just stops them from being censored or makes censorship just a little bit more difficult for systems to pick up. But hey, systems, they're always hard to spot. So what was I going to ramble? Well, I was going to do several rambles today and do some writing and get into some stuff. And I have been, I won't say an idiot, but an idiot. I pulled a tendon in my wrist quite badly a couple of weeks back. I thought it was fixed magically because I'd not done anything and it had not caused me any great pain. So I assumed magically fixed. I then did some stuff that meant that it went just a little bit owie. And I then picked up a book, a not very weighty tome. In fact, it was a Kindle, iPad type thing. Very, very unweighty tome, but I picked it up in slightly the wrong way and completely twinged my hand again. So I can't use a trackpad. I'm struggling to type. So I was like, I had so much planned to do today. And then I realised there was a really cool post that I found of, if the day is a red day, don't expect to do Green Day things. I know Green Day's a great band. But if it's a red flag day, don't expect to do green flag things. And I was like, oh, that's actually really, really good advice. So I am doing as little as possible. I have my wrist in a brace to help the tendon stay still. I'm taking tons of painkillers and anti-inflammatories to help the tendon stay happy, and I'm reducing what I'm doing to recognise that this is in fact not the day to attempt to do many, many, many things, because even if I'm not using my hand, I'm in quite a bit of pain, and every now and then I will do something because I'm massively right-handed, and it's my right hand that I've hurt, and I will do something really small like pick up a cup of coffee and attempt to take coffee to my mouth, and then realise I've done it with my right hand rather than my left hand. And by doing it with my right hand, I've put a little bit more stress back on the tendon, so I've got to put it down and pick it up with the other hand and then attempt to get coffee in my mouth. And all of those little things are just wearing and wear you down ever so slightly. But one of the cool things that I wanted to talk about, or I wanted to start talking about, is food, and talking about discovering better recipes. I also wanted to talk more about Renee, my lovely friend, and do some more of the scenes from me and Renee, because the other week would have been her 100th birthday, and it's been four and a bit years, and I still really miss her. I've been playing with some designs that are based on Gustave Moreau, and one of the things as to why I'm so invested in playing around with designs that have a nuance that's Gustave Moreau, is that was the artist that I went to see. There was a museum in one of their old studios just around the corner from where I was staying, and I had an afternoon or had a morning free, so I went around and had a look at it and really loved his art, and came back just so wanting to talk to Renee about how I'd uncovered this person who's been around since the 1800s, so it's not like I discovered him or anything, but I was newly exposed to his art and how I found it and all of these things and what it meant and how I wished she'd been there. And when I got back to London that morning and I went to message her, that was when I uncovered, that was when I got the notice from her son that she died that morning. So there's a whole thing tied around Gustave Moreau emotionally for me, which is interesting, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I need to kind of recognise that and understand that I am choosing to do stuff in this particular style for so many deep reasons. And one of the other things that Renee and I had was just making little meals, not quite picky bits, but more leftover stuff that we sit around a table and sit around a picnic table on weird chairs and eat, because the big table is too big and the picnic table is the right size for the number of people, although there's now two extra people and suddenly the picnic table seems quite small and we should have been on the big table, but it's fine because we're on the picnic table. Just entire things were incredibly funny. And there was a thing around me being able to make scrambled eggs. There was a thing around making small meals, and I've found a number of things that I've learnt to cook in the last couple of months. And when I say learnt to cook, because it is Satan's armpit in Zone 1 in London, it has been so hot. So ridiculously hot and sweaty for such an extended period of time. Eating picky bits, eating small little nibbly bits all the time has become a way of life. And I wanted to get back more into eating healthily, eating on a proper schedule, all of those things. And I uncovered some food preparations. I'm not going to use the word cooking, some food preparation things that I could do, and I was going to talk about those. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, I was going to talk about that I've left ThoughtWorks, what I'm going to be doing since now, what I've been up to, what I am doing, but some of that I don't want to talk about right now because it's too hot, because it's 10,000 degrees. I was in Rarotonga with Barb earlier this year. That is not a flex. It was Barb's 60th birthday. She couldn't come back to London, so we decided that we would go to Rarotonga for a week. So we went to Rarotonga for a week for her birthday, and it was disgustingly hot. It was somewhere between 20 and 28 degrees. It was still cooler and more manageable than it has been in London in the past, God only knows when. I don't know when I last had a proper night's sleep. I don't know when I last had a sleep where I didn't wake up soaked in sweat as if I was having a hot flush at some point in time during the night. I don't recall the last time I woke up and was not soaked and parched at the same time. A lot of that is because it has been so ridiculously hot in London. I also have a broken a window. It's not broken as in the glass is broken. It's broken as in it doesn't open properly, which is quite a pain at the moment. But Southwark Council, I love you, but you're not going to get it fixed until September. So it has been quite a while without a working window, and there is now a complaint in where me and my lovely PA, Laura, have been combining to write some really good complainings of vulnerable person left without a working window, which they can open so that they can actually have a livable temperature inside their house. Not that anywhere in London is a livable temperature at the moment. It's currently 26 degrees outside. or 25 degrees outside, it is about the same inside, because you just can't cool things down. I was also going to talk about how I've hacked, or the hacks that I've been doing to make things cooler. I got some shade cloth, 99% shade cloth, that's almost the right size for my windows. Not quite, but I've used it to make kind of like a blind of some sort, which means that I can block out a lot of the sunlight that would come into my flat, but still leave the air and everything going and open, and that has made it a little bit more livable, because just the sheer heat of the sun during the morning is too much. But I also wanted to find a solution that I could pack away during winter, when it eventually arrives and we all celebrate, and then when it becomes a polar wind extra snow dump that we all complain about. I think one of the things you might also notice with the new mic is that it will pick up a little bit more of the road noise besides me. I'm sorry, but just still. I live in a city. I live in Zone 1. This is relatively quiet for living in Zone 1. I don't have constant trucks and that going past my house. I just have a quiet little side street where things go up and down occasionally and people walk up and down the street. So that was kind of where I was at. God, I've got the set to seconds, which doesn't actually help me understand time. When you don't understand time anyway, I have no idea how long this has been recording. Let me see if I just click on that, is it going to give me decimals, samples, frames, beats, sympter? I think seconds is the one that's understandable of that. If anyone knows how to use OSIN audio and wants to tell me how to convert seconds into like time, please tell me, because I can't do, well, I can do maths. 700 seconds is 12 minutes or so. So I'm reaching the end of this. So yeah, this is a bit of a mumble of, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do. There's a lot of stuff that I'd love to do proper rants about. I'd love to do proper posts about. I want to talk about. I want to talk about what my plans are for the future. Can't talk about why I left. That's never going to happen. But I will talk about my plans for the future and what I'm going to be doing. Some of the ideas that I'm going to be playing with. But at the moment, I'm more just sitting here with a really, really messed up wrist. Really messed up. Oh my God, I tried to swim last night, which shouldn't be using, I didn't realise was going to be using any part of that side of my hand. And I realised I use that part completely when I'm swimming. And the fact that I managed to swim 2 kilometres with this damaged wrist a couple of weeks back was A, a miracle, and B, an idiocy, something really idiotic. The fact that I'm going to do it again on Sunday says either I'm an idiot, answers on the back of a postcard, please send a self-stamped addressed envelope to the place below. Either I'm an absolute idiot, or I will be fine by then, because it is just a matter of resting up the tendon enough that it stops pinging, and then once the tendon stops pinging, it's just resting my hand up, and that swimming motion is actually really good for it, because it's only when it's just been sprained that it really, really hurts. What else is there? What else? That's basically it. So yeah,